Hello students. Today we'll discuss regarding the pathogenesis of irreversible cell injury that is going to be caused by the hypoxia and ischemia. Okay. See, if you see what is meant by this irreversible cell injury, see that is if there is a persistent, clear if there is any persistent hypoxia or ischemia. If there is any persistent hypoxia or ischemia which will be leading to the irreversible damage. Okay, this irreversible cell damage is going to be leads to the cell death. Okay, this you will call it as a irreversible cell injury. Clear? What is this irreversible cell injury? Suppose if there is any persistent hypoxia or ischemia which will be leading to the irreversible damage, okay, which is ultimately leads to the cell death. Okay, if you compare this with the reversible cell injury, mainly this irreversible cell injury is going to be differs from the reversible cell injury regarding the functions. Okay, if you see regarding the functions, okay, the first one is inability of the cell to reverse the mitochondrial dysfunction. Okay, what is that? Mitochondrial dysfunction. Clear? See, that is nothing but if you see in case of reversible, there is a chance of reversing the mitochondrial dysfunction, but which is not possible in case of this irreversible cell injury. Clear? See what I'm saying here, inability of the cell to reverse the mitochondrial dysfunction on reperfusion. Okay, first thing is reperfusion or reoxygenation. Clear? See, this reperfusion is nothing but suppose if there is any blocks in the blood vessels, suppose if we are removing that blocks from the blood vessels, so automatically we are going to be improving the circulation. Clear? And reoxygenation means suppose we are supplying the oxygen, that you will call it as reoxygenation. Clear? See, even though if we are supplying this reperfusion or reoxygenation, there is no reverse of this mitochondrial dysfunction in case of this irreversible cell injury. Okay, and the second function that is going to be differs from the reversible cell injury is disturbance in the plasma membrane. Okay, particularly there will be a disturbance in the plasma membrane. Okay, particularly in case of irreversible cell injury, there will be a disturbance in the plasma membrane. But if you see generally, there will be a disturbance in the cell membrane. But in case of irreversible cell injury, what happens? There will be a particularly disturbance only in the plasma membrane. Okay, see, these are the two main functions that are going to be differs from the reversible cell injury. Okay, next we'll see what are the sequence of biochemical changes that are going to be taking place during this irreversible cell injury. Okay, the first one is calcium influx. Okay, the first biochemical change that you are going to be observed is calcium influx. Okay, because of this calcium influx, there will be mitochondrial damage. Okay, we'll see in detail how which will be leading to the mitochondrial damage because of this calcium influx. Clear? See here what happens because of continued hypoxia. Clear? See, there will be a continued hypoxia. I told you yesterday that is after the reversible cell injury, okay, that acute stress is removed, then that you will call it as reversible. Suppose I told you, suppose if that acute stress is not removed, that means there will be a continuous hypoxia. Clear? See, because of that, which will be leading to the influx of calcium ions. Clear? You are going to be observed the influx of calcium ions. Clear? See, that means all these calcium ions are going to be collected in the mitochondria. Clear? See, once the calcium ions enters inside the cell, these calcium ions are going to be collected inside this mitochondria. Clear? See, then what happens inside this mitochondria? There will be a development of vacuoles. Okay, there is a development of vacuoles inside the mitochondria, and not only that, there will be a deposition of amorphous calcium salts. Okay, amorphous calcium salt deposits you are going to be observed inside the mitochondria, finally, which will be leading to the mitochondrial damage. Clear? See, this is regarding the first biochemical change that you are going to be observed in case of this irreversible cell injury. Clear? What is that? Calcium influx leads to the mitochondrial damage. That means if there is a continuous hypoxia, then what happens? There will be an influx of calcium ions. Clear? All that calcium ions are going to be collected inside the mitochondria. Because of that, which will be leading to the development of vacuoles inside the mitochondria. Not only that, there will be deposits of amorphous calcium salts inside the mitochondria automatically, which will be leading to this mitochondrial damage. Okay, this is the first biochemical change that you are going to be observed in case of this irreversible cell injury. Okay, and the second one is activated phospholipase. Okay, second one is activated phospholipase. Clear? See, this will be leading to the membrane damage. Clear? See, this because of this activated phospholipase, which will be leading to the membrane damage. See, we'll see, I already told you, damage to the plasma membrane, okay, which is a very important event in case of this irreversible cell injury. Clear? Here what happens if there is a sustained ischemia. Clear? Suppose if there is a continuous ischemia, see here also there will be influx of calcium ions. Okay, so because of this influx of calcium ions, what happens? There will be increased levels of calcium ions inside the cell. Clear? Say, because of these increased calcium ions, which is going to be activates mainly two enzymes. Okay, first, which is going to be activate, that is phospholipase. Clear? See, because of activating this phospholipase, see, the role of this phospholipase is going to be degrades the membrane phospholipids. Clear? See, then what happens automatically if you see this phospholipids, which is a main constituent of the lipid bilayer. Clear? See, once this phospholipase is activated, what happens, which will be leading to the degradation of this phospholipids, so automatically which will be leading to the membrane damage. Clear? And not only that, this increased calcium ions, which can also activate another enzyme, we will call it as ATPase. Okay, ATPase, this enzyme will be useful for the degradation of the ATP, so that automatically it is going to be decreases the ATP levels. Clear? See, because of this decreased ATP, what happens, which will be leading to the decreased replacement, okay, which will be causing decreased replacement of membrane phospholipids. Clear? While discussing the reversible cell injury, I told you whenever there is a decreased ATP, there will be decreased replacement of the membrane phospholipids. Clear? See, this is regarding the activated phospholipase. Okay, you have to concentrate on this phospholipase. What happens? Okay, because of this sustained hypoxia, there will be influx of the calcium ions. Clear? See, because of that influx of calcium ions, there will be increased levels of the calcium. These increased calcium ions inside the cell, which is going to be activating the enzyme known as phospholipase. Clear, this phospholipase is going to be degrades the membrane phospholipids. Why? Because this phospholipids is the main constituent of the lipid bilayer, okay, automatically, which will be leading to the membrane damage. Clear? See, not only that, these calcium ions can also activate another enzyme known as ATPase. Because of that, there will be a decreases the ATP levels. Clear? Because of this decreased ATP, which will be leading to the decreased replacement of the membrane phospholipids. Okay, so this is regarding the second biochemical change that you are going to be observed, that is activated phospholipase leading to the membrane damage. Okay, and the third biochemical change, okay, that you are going to be observed in case of this irreversible cell injury, that is intracellular proteases. Okay, that is activation of intracellular proteases, okay, which will be leading to the cytoskeleton damage. Clear? See, because of activation of these intracellular proteases. Okay, previously we had seen the activation of phospholipases, but here activation of intracellular proteases, which will be leading to this cytoskeleton damage. And if you see the components of the cytoskeleton, okay, that components includes that is microfilaments. Okay, if you see the components of the cytoskeleton, microfilaments. Clear? And next one is microtubules, and the third one is intermediate filaments. Okay, these three are the important constituents of this cytoskeleton. Clear? See, what is the role of these three constituents of the cytoskeleton is, which will be support the cell membrane. Okay, mainly these are going to be supports the cell membrane. See, but see, because of influx of calcium ions, either it may be because of continuous hypoxia or because of continuous ischemia, there will be influx of calcium ions. Okay, this calcium ions also activates, okay, that is proteases. Okay, this can also activates the enzyme proteases, which will be degrades the cytoskeleton constituents. Clear? These proteases are going to be degrades these cytoskeleton constituents. Suppose if there is a degradation of the cytoskeleton constituents, which will be leading to the damage to the cytoskeleton, total damage to the cytoskeleton. Okay, so this is regarding the third one, that is intracellular proteases, which will be leading to the cytoskeleton damage. Clear? See, the cytoskeleton constituents includes microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate filaments. Okay, this will be support the cell membrane mainly, and because of the hypoxia or ischemia, okay, continuously there will be influx of the calcium ions. Clear? That calcium ions activates the proteases that are going to be degrades these cytoskeleton constituents, which is further leads to the damage to this cytoskeleton. Clear? See, and the next change, biochemical change that are observed, okay, in case of this irreversible cell injury is activated endonucleases. Okay, next one is activated endonucleases, okay, which will be leading to the nuclear damage. Okay, we'll see how the nuclear damage is going to be taking place because of this activated endonucleases. Clear? See here also the same thing, because of continuous hypoxia or ischemia, there will be influx of calcium ions. Clear? See, that means you remember here how the calcium ions plays a very important role during the irreversible cell injury. Clear? See, these calcium ions are going to be activates lysosomal enzymes. Okay, these are going to be activates lysosomal enzymes. Clear? See, what are these lysosomal enzymes? Mainly proteases and endonucleases. Okay, here particularly if you see, that is endonucleases. Clear? See, these endonucleases are going to be activated by these calcium ions, which will be leading to the damage to the nuclear proteins. Clear? See, whatever the nuclear proteins that will be present inside the cell undergoing damage to the nuclear proteins, finally, which will be leading to the nuclear damage. Is it clear? See, what is this here? Because of influx of calcium ions, which is going to be activates the lysosomal enzymes, mainly the endonucleases. Clear? See, because of that, which will be leading to the damage of the nuclear proteins, ultimately, which causes damage to the nucleus. Clear? And if you see, in case of irreversible damage, okay, to the nucleus is in three forms. Okay, this irreversible damage to the nucleus, okay, which is categorized into three forms. Okay, we'll see. The first one, you will call it as pycnosis. Okay, this terminology is important, you remember. First one is the pycnosis. Okay, this pycnosis is nothing but which is the condensation and clumping of nucleus. Okay, this we will call it as condensation and clumping of nucleus. You will call it as pycnosis. Okay, and the second one you will call it as karyorrhexis. Okay, the second one is karyorrhexis. Okay, this karyorrhexis means nuclear fragmentation. This meaning you will call it as nuclear fragmentation. And not only the nuclear fragmentation and dispersed in the cytoplasm. Okay, the nuclear fragments means small bits of the nucleus are going to be dispersed in the cytoplasm. And next, the third irreversible, okay, that is damage of the nucleus is karyolysis. Okay, karyolysis. This karyolysis is dissolution of the nucleus. See, what is meant by this dissolution of nucleus? See, that means completely there will be, okay, that is dissolution of the nucleus. That means a soluble of nucleus inside the cytoplasm. Okay, these are the three important irreversible damage to the nucleus you are going to be observed because of activation of endonucleases. Okay, what are those? Pycnosis. Okay, the pycnosis is the condensation and clumping of the nucleus. Okay, next one is karyorrhexis, that is nuclear fragmentation. Clear? That means small bits of the nucleus and that are going to be dispersed in the cytoplasm. And the third one is karyolysis. Okay, karyolysis means that is the dissolution of the nucleus. Clear? So this is the fourth biochemical change you are going to be observed in case of irreversible cell injury. And next one is lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes. Okay, that is activation of lysosomal, mainly hydrolytic enzymes. Clear? Previously we had seen simply the lysosomal enzymes, but here the lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes, okay, which will be leading to lysosomal damage. Okay, leading to lysosomal damage and also cell death, leads to cell death, and which also leads to phagocytosis. Clear? See, because of the activation of lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes, which will be leads to the lysosomal damage, cell death, and phagocytosis. Clear? See here what happens. Suppose if you see this is one of the lysosome. Clear? See, whatever the enzymes, okay, that are present, you will call it as lysosomal enzymes, and particularly we are discussing regarding the lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes. Clear? See, because of continuous hypoxia and ischemia, there will be a damage to the lysosomal membrane. Clear? See, so whatever the enzymes that will be present, and that is going to be leak out from the membrane of the lysosome. Clear? See, now the enzymes will be present in the cytoplasm. Clear? See, now these enzymes are going to be activated mainly by decreased oxygen and decreased pH. Why? Because in case of hypoxia and ischemia, there is a decreased oxygen as well as a decreased pH. Clear? See, these conditions are going to be activating this lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes. And if you see the examples, okay, for this lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes, like hydrolase, okay, like hydrolase, next one is RNase, the next one is DNase, okay, etc. Okay, like this you are having some lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes. Okay, what these hydrolytic enzymes after activation, which will be causing, that is digestion of cellular components. Clear? See, whatever the cellular components, okay, that will be present, all are going to be digested with the help of this lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes. Clear? See, because of this digestion, which will be leading to the cell death. Clear? See, this is what is going to be happening in case of lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes, which will be leading to the lysosomal damage, cell death, and phagocytosis. Clear? And if you see here, this is one lysosome. Clear? Because of hypoxia and ischemia, the membrane of the lysosome is going to be damaged. Clear? See, whatever the hydrolytic enzymes that will be present inside the lysosome is going to be leaked out of this lysosome. Okay, these are the enzymes. Okay, these enzymes, once which will be released into the cytoplasm, that is going to be activated by decreased oxygen and decreased pH. Clear? See, because of the activation, what happens? These are going to be digest the cellular components, ultimately which will be leading to the cell death. Clear? And here, whatever the dead cells, clear, that will be present, these dead cells are going to be replaced by mass of phospholipids, that you will call it as myelin figures. Okay, what is that? You will call it as myelin figures. Okay, you remember this terminology, what is meant by this myelin figures. Okay, the dead cells, okay, are going to be replaced by mass of phospholipids. See, phospholipids means which is not available in the form of masses, but here during irreversible cell injury, what happens? There will be availability of mass of phospholipids. Okay, that mass of phospholipids, you will call it as myelin figures. Okay, and if you see this myelin figures are phagocytosed by macrophages. One thing is those are going to be phagocytosed by macrophages, or sometimes what happens, there will be a formation of calcium soaps. Is it clear? See, what is the fate of these myelin figures? These are going to be phagocytosed by the macrophages, or there is a formation of this calcium soaps. Clear? See, this is regarding, okay, that is lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes, okay, which will be leading to the lysosomal damage, cell death, and phagocytosis. Clear? See, and if you see here, in case of irreversible cell injury, I am telling that the enzymes are going to be leaked into the cytoplasm. Clear? See, from the cell, what happens sometimes, okay, that enzymes are leaked into the serum. See, not sometimes, always some of the enzymes are going to be leaked into the serum also, and the enzymes in the serum which will be acting like an important clinical parameter of the cell death, okay, which will be acting like an important clinical parameter of cell death. That means how we know that a particular organ, okay, in a particular organ there is a cell death, okay. See, that you can know with the help of a test if you are going to be done in case of the serum. See, that means in case of the blood test, automatically some of the enzymes are present, means definitely you will call it as a cell death in that particular organ, okay. I will tell you one example. Suppose if you see that is myocardium, okay, if you see one example of myocardium, okay, that means in case of heart. Clear? Suppose if there is a cell death in case of the myocardium, okay, in the heart, some part of the heart there is a death of the cells, okay. How you know that there is a death, okay, of cells regarding the myocardium? See, whenever there is a cell death in the myocardium, see, one of the important protein or the enzyme that is going to be released, you will call it as a troponin. Clear? See, normally these troponin proteins or the enzymes cannot be released into the blood. But whenever there is a cell death in case of myocardium, definitely this protein is going to be released into the circulation. Clear? If anybody have done this blood test, in that blood, okay, they have found this troponin, then what happens? Immediately it indicates there is a cell death in the myocardium. Clear? See, in this way, these lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes, once if it is present in the serum, which will be acting like a clinical parameter of the cell death. Clear? We had seen the one example here, that is myocardium. If there is any death, clear, regarding the cells in the myocardium, immediately that troponin protein is going to be released into the blood. Clear? By doing the blood test, definitely this protein is going to be found in the blood, so which indicates the cell death in the myocardium. Clear? See, this all regarding the different, okay, biochemical sequential changes that we are going to be observed in case of irreversible cell injury. Is it clear? Clear? Once again, okay, we'll rewind what are the different sequential changes that are going to be taking place in case of this irreversible cell injury. Okay, the first one is, that is calcium influx, which will be leading to the mitochondrial damage. Okay, and the second one is activated phospholipase, which will be leading to the membrane damage. And the third one is activation of intracellular proteases, which will be leading to the cytoskeleton damage. Fourth one is, that is activation of endonucleases, which will be leading to the nuclear damage. And finally, there will be activation of lysosomal hydrolytic enzymes, which will be leading to lysosomal damage, cell death, as well as the phagocytosis. Okay, see, that's all, students, for today. Okay, we have discussed regarding the pathogenesis of irreversible cell injury that is going to be caused by the hypoxia and ischemia.